What's up? Welcome to the Existential Stoic Podcast. Do you ever struggle to, develop the habits you want, to be the kind of person you want to be, to develop the right character traits? Today you're in luck because we're going to talk about how to build habits in this quick fix. The short episode just to give you some tips for how to, solve this kind of problem that we all struggle with. I'm Danny, and here my buddy Randy. What's up, Randy?
What's up, Danny?
Yeah, so, why do you think habits are important?
Well, I think it might have been Aristotle or somebody who said we're basically the sum total of all of our habits. So if you look at who you
Yeah.
want to become, or I mean, you could look at your habits and that'll tell you who you are. Or if you look at who you want to become, figure out what habits they have, and then start cultivating those habits, and then you could be that type of person.
Yeah, it's a good practice, right? Because, building that character makes you that type of person. You do that sort of stuff and you can, kind of realize whatever you want. Yeah, so today we each got a few tips to help everybody out. I'm going to start. So my first one's pretty straightforward, but it's important. Determine which habits are best suited for what you want or who you want to be. So I think this is important because a lot of time, we think of habits and we think it's just starting out picking things to kind of cultivate. But in fact, it's better to plan this out and think it through and pick, appropriate habits for what you're trying to accomplish. I think like if it's your health, exercising, eating right, those sorts of things, so there's always a set of habits relative to whatever you're trying to accomplish. And I think that's important to think through.
Yeah, that's a good one. What I heard from that was also defining habits that you want as opposed to ones that
Yeah.
society says you should have, So
Yeah.
like let's say for instance you have a habit of smoking cigarettes. If that's totally cool with what you do and that's something you want to do, then that's an amazing habit to have. Even though society says it's a terrible habit, if it's something that you want, then that's an awesome habit. So yeah, I think that's a good
Yeah.
one. So my first one is one at a time. I oftentimes mess up here where I try and change a whole bunch of things at once and I get way overwhelmed and then
Yeah.
I don't actually change anything. However, whenever I just go after one thing at a time and everything else, just let it go by the wayside, do one thing until it becomes routine, until it becomes habit, that always becomes a habit. So I would urge people to just focus on one habit at a time and like make sure that you're doing it for a long time, that you're implementing it for a long time, that it becomes so normal that if you don't do it, you feel like there's a loss.
Yeah, that's a good one too, because I think it's so important. Because every time I failed at this, it's the same reason. You try and make too many changes, and I think anybody, when you're trying to make changes in your life to make yourself better, you make too many changes at once, or you commit to, it's like the New Year's resolutions. You have a list of 10 things. You try to do all 10, it's way too much, and you end up just stopping everything. But if you focus on one, you cultivate the one, and then it motivates you to build others. They sort of, they snowball effect works there too. So it's a really helpful practice. I think it's super smart.
And you have proof that you can build habits. You've done it
Yeah.
before because you did it
Yeah.
with this one. You can do it again.
Yeah. You show yourself you can do it. I like that. It goes nicely too. My second one is, don't get discouraged. You have to remember to persevere. I think another reason why a lot of us fail at this is because, cultivating a habit means you don't have it, right? You don't have that character trait yet. So by definition, you're going to fail. There's going to be days that you mess up. There's going to be days that's really hard. There's going to be times where you forget, you do you revert to old practices, old habits. And so you have to be conscientious. You have to be self-aware and you have to recognize that, it's a process of growth and cultivating that character trait. You don't possess it immediately just because you say you want it. I think that is something you have to get over.
Yeah, I think that's a
Yeah.
great one, the perseverance. And one way that I heard it is don't miss 2 days. So like
Yeah.
everybody's gonna fall off the horse, but
That's a good
don't
one.
miss that second day. Or if you miss 2 days already, don't miss that third day. Like whatever it is, just
Yeah.
get right back on it today and then make sure you follow through with it again tomorrow. Yeah, that's a good
No,
one.
it's a good point too. Because it's funny. Every time I tried to work out, that screwed me up. It was like that'd be good for like a month, then you miss like a week, and it's like totally falls apart, right? And you gotta,
Yeah.
because you don't get yourself back on. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my next one is habit stacking. So this is whenever you want to implement a new habit, if you can associate it with a habit you already have, that's going to make it stick a lot better because once you're doing this habit you already do, you'll remember, oh, when I'm done that, I do this new habit. And so that way
Yeah.
it'll help it stick a lot easier as opposed to just trying to fit it in sometime. Or maybe if you don't have any habits yet and you're starting out with your first habit, associating with something that you do same time every day, like eating breakfast or eating dinner or getting home from work. Like once you associate with that time, and then you every time that time happens, you fire the new habit, that'll help it stick a lot faster than if you just try and do like, oh, I hope to do this sometime today.
I like that. So you mean like if you already journal at night and then you incorporate like meditative breathing or something afterwards, right? Like yeah, it's a good idea. I like that. Because then you're kind of building your routines out too for your day and kind of building your schedule of the person you want to be. I like that. That goes nicely too with my other one, which is, I think I forget what they call this, but it's combined difficult habits or things that are hard for you to do with fun activities or things that you enjoy. So the core example I've always heard from this is, like if you struggle working out, only allow yourself to watch your favorite TV show when you're on the elliptical or on the bike, so that you incorporate an activity that you enjoy, like watching this TV show that you love with exercise, or it could be like listening to a podcast or a book or whatever, right?
Yeah, that's a good one because it'll get you motivated to do it. Just hope you don't end up hating your favorite TV show as much as you hate being on the elliptical.
Yeah.
Yep. So my last one, and I think this one is probably one of the most important ones for me, is make sure it's something you actually want. And this is kind of similar to your first one that you were talking about. But I think a lot of times people don't follow through with habits because they don't actually want them enough. It's like, yeah, my dentist tells me I need to floss my teeth every day, but I don't really want to do it. It's a pain. So like, even though I incorporate it as a habit, I'm probably not going to stick with it. However, once you decide that like having teeth is better than not having teeth and it means something to you, then you're a lot more likely to stick with flossing your teeth. So like it's deciding that you actually want the habit. And I think a lot of us go down the path of feeling like we have to have these habits, like we have to be healthy. We don't want to be healthy. We have to give up smoking. We don't want to give up smoking. We have to eat right. We don't want to eat right. And so we start implementing these habits and we fall off the bandwagon after like a week or two because we really didn't want it in the beginning. So just, save yourself a lot of energy and just don't do it. If you don't want to do it, just don't do
it. No, I think that's like a great point. Like, I think a lot of people, you see other people doing stuff and you think you should do it too, but you're not really doing it for the right reasons. You have to know what you want. You have to know your values. Otherwise, whatever you try is going to fall apart because it's just something that you don't care about, right? I mean, that's the end of the day. I like that. That's a good one. I'll mention one more thing too, which is just remember to do it every day and practice every day. I mean, I think that's the important thing is consistency over time. But that's it, right? Everybody should be able to build habits now. You guys should be able to fix this problem. We'll be back later with a full episode. Check us out on YouTube. Listen to us wherever you get your podcast. Like, subscribe. It helps us out a lot. Until then, though, later, Randy.
Later, Danny.